In 2026, the question from regulator is no longer, are you using artificial intelligence? Is, can you explain why it made that specific decision? And if you're working in anti-money laundering or sanctions, right now, you've probably seen that kind of shift. We had these incredibly powerful models flagging transactions, but when an auditor or even a model risk team stands in front of you and then asks for that type of logic that has been used, the machine sometimes say no, and this is the faster way to a falling grade. In fact, under the EU AI Act and also in the latest fins and directives, being unable to explain an AI-driven SAR is now a direct governance failure. Article 13 under transparency and provision of information to deployers states that high-risk systems must be designed to be sufficiently transparent so that users can interpret the outputs and use them appropriately. Today I'm going to show you how to bridge that gap, and we are moving from a blind trust to explainable AI, or also known as XAI. And I'll give you a simple framework to ensure your artificial intelligence decisions are defensible, that are transparent, and most importantly, that are auditable. So let's jump into today's video. To go deeper here, we have to understand that explainability isn't just one thing. When a regulator looks at your system, they're looking for three distinct layers. The first one is global explainability. This is the why. Why did you choose that specific model? If you are using, for example, a random forest or a neural network, how does that model generically weight risks? You need to have a document, not a technical one, but a compliance one that explains the global logic of your system. The second is local explainability. This is the how. For a specific alert on customer A, what were the feature attributions? If the artificial intelligence saw a 400% increase in cross-border velocity, that's a feature. If it saw a connection to a sanction jurisdiction through a third-party node, that is also a feature. And if your user interface doesn't show you this reasons code, then you're flying blind and you may end up in having issues explaining those features. The third one is counterfactual explanations. This is the gold standard for 2026. A regulator might want to ask, what would have to change for this customer not to be flagged? And if you cannot answer that, you don't actually control the model properly. Let's walk through a real-world scenario. Imagine your artificial intelligence flags a trade finance transaction. On the surface, the documents maybe they're looking fine, but the AI triggers an alert because the vessel's behavior is anomalous compared to 10,000 previous voyages, for example. As a practitioner, you can't just write AI flagged the vessel. You need to look at the SHAP values, and that's a technical term for the contribution of each data point, essentially. So all these SHAP values are normally calculated within the AI model. But let's continue with this example and go a little bit deeper. The artificial intelligence perhaps saw that the ship's AIS transponder was turned off for 4 hours. Verify the context and you check if there was a non-technical fault or if it was a dark activity zone. And then the defensive narrative. Your SAR should read, while the artificial intelligence flagged this based on AIS anomaly, feature 04, our manual investigation confirmed that the vessel was in a high-risk corridor during that specific gap, validating the model risk score. So this is how you would turn a machine-generated alert into a human-led and very defensible decision. If this sounds complex, it's because the industry has moved past the stage of just clicking buttons. So this is exactly why I built the FinCrime Career Accelerator, which is currently a version 2.0. In the course, specifically in the Module 7 on customer due diligence and risk assurance, I talk about how to build defensible narratives. And we don't just teach you the theory, we show you how to structure your findings so that when an auditor looks at your work, they can see that there is a specialist behind that who understands the data and not just an analyst that is clearing a queue. If you want to master this level of professional framing and move into senior advisory or FIU roles, you can find the link to the course right here and in the description of this video right below. So before we wrap up on this video, I want to give you a checklist that you can take with you on your next board meeting or even for a specific audit. And I want to start with model drift. How often are you retraining? If your artificial intelligence was trained in 2023 data, it won't recognize 2026 Roman scams, for example, or hybrid scams typology. The other point is on bias audit. Are you accidentally discriminating against a specific demographic because the AI learned a bias? You must have a record of bias testing and the human in the loop mandate. You must be able to show an override log. If a human disagreed with the artificial intelligence, why did the human disagree? Regulators love seeing that humans are still in the ultimate decision makers, so they're still in the decision seat. And for more on this, I suggest you to check out on the OECD updates guideline on artificial intelligence, which I've linked in the description also right below. The practitioners who will be most in demand this year are those who can sit in a room with data scientists and regulators and speak both languages. Explainability isn't anymore a technical hurdle, now it's your greatest tool for career growth. And if this deep dive was valuable to you, please do hit the like and subscribe to my channel to watch more of this type of videos. When you press the like button, it tells me that you want more of this technical practitioner focused content rather than just high-level summaries. And don't forget to check the links that you will find right down in the video description. You will find the link to my FinCrime Career Accelerator in version 2.0 and other very interesting resources that I discovered while I was researching to create this specific video. I'm Marco Beranzoni, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.